You know, even up until now, a part of me still doesn't believe that we're actually doing this. The murder case of Nagito Komaeda. His unpredictable death has left a looming shadow of mystery in the hearts of Hajime and the others. Who is the traitor? What was the clue Nagito left? Will they be able to see the light within the darkness between hope and despair? Oh, I guess we shall find out in this particular class trial. However, like I said before, I may have an idea about how this all happened, and if my idea is gonna be right, then I'm definitely gonna be a happy skeleton. Not gonna lie, I'm definitely gonna be pretty happy if it is what I think it is. But we're still gonna have to solve this mystery nonetheless. I'm sure that there are quite a lot of stuff that will happen in this particular class trial. So yeah, let's see. And as for this, to be honest, I'm thinking that in the last class trial that we're gonna have in chapter 6, and yeah, I'm saying that because I know that there's gonna be another class trial after this, like in chapter 6. This isn't gonna be the last class trial, surely. So I'm thinking that in the last class trial I'm gonna use all of my skills necessary, and for this particular class trial, I think I'm gonna challenge myself once again, in the sense that I'm just gonna use one skill, or I don't know. I'm thinking of also using this, like a fine sword and cheat code, and that's pretty much it. Other than that, I'm gonna leave it at that. Be challenging and all that. Everything is set on me. I have quite a lot of mono coins, that's for sure, and all these true bullets over here. So, yep. Let's see about this particular case, ladies and gents. Let's finish the preparations and begin the class trial.
Now then, let's begin with a simple explanation of the class trial. During the class trial, you will present your arguments for who the killer is and vote for who done it. If you vote correctly, then only the blackened will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong person...
You know, I'm only noticing now that that the photos of like the pictures of the dead students are all at different heights. That is because of the different heights that the students had before. Like, Hyoko has it at the lowest height, whereas Gundam has it pretty high and all that. That's that's pretty interesting.
I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and that person will earn the right to leave this island. Oh my, Monokuma? My cute little sister? You're awfully quiet. What's happened to you? You've ascended the ladder of adulthood and reached the moon? Because you're a rabbit?
Usami?
Yes, though!
Oh, God. Usami! Oh my goodness.
One more time! Jeez! How about this one? This will be my final blow!
Jesus Christ. Monokuma is giving his all right now. Usami.
It's useless.
Please stop! I feel bad for Monomi.
Yeah, she's acting so serious right now. She doesn't even care if she's getting hit by Monokuma all the damn time anymore.
You're right. Now's not the time for me to horse around with Monokuma. The class trial has started, after all. The victim this time is Nagito, who is attempting to reveal the traitor for everyone's sake.
Huh? What?
Who in the world killed him? I'm so curious.
If he was killed for trying to reveal the traitor, that traitor is obviously the killer. They were trying to shut Nagito up.
No, that might not be it.
Hmm?
Huh? Are you trying to protect the traitor? They didn't call out when we were in danger. Wait. Don't tell me you're the traitor.
Don't say something so stupid. There's no way in hell I'm the traitor.
What? Okay, is it just me or are roles being reversed over here? You would think that Fuyuhiko, like Kazuichi, would be the one to point like at everybody for being the traitor, and Fuyuhiko would be like, no, that's not it. But I don't know. The fuck?
Now that's more like it. Why don't you guys hurry and start arguing already?
The traitor and the killer who murdered Nagito is here, right? Are they the same person? Or... Wait, what? We're already having like Hope versus Despair soundtrack over here? Huh, that's interesting. But yeah, could it be that the killer and the traitor be the same one?
Mouth to shut him up. I'm telling you, they were torturing him.
The reason Nagito's body was covered with wounds.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
So that's why he was so beat up. What were they trying to find out by torturing him? Definitely the bomb's hiding place. If so, the suspect is whoever found the bomb first.
That was Fuyuhiko.
I found it by coincidence. There's no way I'd torture someone.
Nah, I don't think so. Torture? Nah, totally not. No. Were the wounds on Nagito's body really caused by torture in the first place? No. There is one evidence that I believe would be the best with this one, I think.
The reason Nagito's body was covered with wounds.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
No, I don't think so. Yep.
No, that's wrong.
You are wrong, Kazuichi.
But Nagito's mouth was covered with duct tape, so he wouldn't have been able to confess anything.
Soundtrack? Okay. But yeah, come on, Kazuichi. Like, really? You're really the first one that we're gonna contradict over here? Well, as usual, I guess.
If he was being tortured for information, they wouldn't have taped his mouth like that.
I'm prepared.
No. Oh, hey!
Ah, I just realized it. It's a trap.
A trap?
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 Stupid Hajime. You got caught in that trap.
Stupid? Who are you calling stupid? You. Fine. Then I guess after this showdown rebuttal, we'll show you who is the stupid one here. But yeah. I do have to wonder, what is he talking about when he says that it could be a trap? That it is a trap?
Like you said, if Nagito's mouth was taped shut, you obviously assume he couldn't talk, right? But that was the trap. He wanted to hide the fact that he got interrogated.
But if you tape his mouth shut, how is he supposed to answer anything?
Pay attention. This is how it went. First, the killer tortured Nagito and got information about the bomb's location. Then, after they killed him, they duct taped his mouth shut. Whew, that was close, you guys. Thanks to me, you guys didn't get caught in the trap.
I think that is actually a pretty good thinking over there, Kazuichi. Yeah, I think that what Kazuichi is saying here, I mean, his reasoning here is good in the sense that the killer tortured Nagito, and then after he or she killed Nagito, duct taped him so they would make it seem like he wasn't tortured. However, no, there is clear evidence for this, but that clearly contradicts the truth. If he had listened to me until the very end, I wouldn't have to go to the trouble of repeating myself.
Pay attention. This is how it went.
What?
First, the killer tortured Nagito and got information about the bomb's location. Then, after they killed him, they duct taped his mouth shut. Whew, that was close, you guys. Thanks to me, you guys didn't get caught in the trap.
But seriously? So wait, actually hold on a second. Isn't it like yeah, this must be like the same, we're gonna have to use the same truth, except in Truth Blade mode.
Pay attention. This is how it went. First, the killer tortured Nagito and got information
Oops.
about the
Oh, that was pretty close.
Then, after they killed him,
No, wait, hold on a second. Oh, bleh. There.
Allow me to cut through those words.
So wait, hold on a second.
No, there's no doubt Nagito's mouth was covered with duct tape before he was beat up.
what did you say?
Yeah, you heard it right, Mr. Kazuzu.
Who cares about the duct tape? We might as well settle this with rock, paper, scissors. We don't need to play a game. It's clear the duct tape was on his mouth before the torture even began.
Why do you always side with Hajime? Do you have a crush on him or something?
Kazuichi. Are you in elementary school or something? Well, that is a bit debatable, but still, is it just me, or was Hajime actually gonna say this before he got interrupted by Kazuichi? If Kazuichi didn't interrupt there before Hajime said that there was no blood under the duct tape, then we wouldn't even need this showdown rebuttal in the first place. Is that right? God damn it, Kazuichi.
You were with us when I peeled the duct tape off Nagito's mouth, right? The blood on Nagito's face wasn't under the duct tape, remember?
Yep, meaning that he didn't get tortured. He had the duct tape on him while the killer did the wounds on both his legs and his arm.
The blood on his face came from his arm wounds, which means the duct tape was on his face before his arms were even wounded.
And the duct tape had a lot of crinkles around his mouth. He must have been struggling to open his mouth under the duct tape.
Perhaps the duct tape was used so he wouldn't be able to scream.
Probably.
Then it's like I said at the beginning. The tape wasn't for torture. It was to keep his mouth shut.
However, if they wanted to seal his mouth, they did not need to hurt him with such ferocity.
I do have to wonder what is Kazuichi thinking right now. Is he being like, oh, god damn it, I made a fool of myself once again.
They probably had a deep grudge against Nagito.
Then, are you saying the killer was trying to make him suffer? If so, it's friggin' crazy. Did they go psycho or something?
I mean, we all had a grudge against Nagito, but to go all out like this, nah.
No, they didn't just go crazy. Whoever did this must be one crafty bastard. If not, they wouldn't have taken the time to set fire to the crime scene and destroy all the evidence.
Hmm? The warehouse fire was for destroying evidence?
We can't think of any other reason.
But who could have done that? When the fire occurred, everyone in this room was gathered in front of the warehouse. Yeah, and right after I opened the warehouse door, the flames started burning from the very back. Which means it is plausible to think that nobody here set the fire.
Maybe nobody here who was right in front of the door, however...
The killer isn't one of us. But that's not the case, huh? I mean, it's wishful thinking.
I mean, yeah, it is wishful thinking.
Even if it was only a coincidence, the timing was just too perfect.
Based on the pattern up until now, we should suspect that some kind of setup was used for this.
I think that Sonia has the right idea over here. It was kind of a setup.
Some kind of setup? Like what? I do not know that, but that has been the pattern before.
Oh, come on. It is quite elementary, Miss Nevermind. I mean, think about it for a second. How did the fire start?
That's our Miss Sonia. You have such an amazingly high intellect. Alrighty then. Let's think about this based on what Miss Sonia thinks. Is that okay, Miss Sonia?
Damn right it is!
Okay, well... I guess that's good from Kazuichi's part. He didn't lose like any points there, it seems. That's a good move, I guess. The reason for the fire. Alright, we need to clear that up first. Okay, what the hell? Soundtrack. Okay. Torture wounds, burned rope, survival knife.
The direct cause of the fire was the oil lighter found at the crime scene, right?
The killer used some kind of setup. He lit the curtain on fire with the lighter.
Some kind of setup?
Did they use the oil as an improvised fuse?
They probably just threw the lighter. Based on the shape of that oil lighter, it can stand upright while the flame is lit.
If
That
they
can be
tipped over the
true.
lighter in some way, it could have ignited the curtain.
Some way? Maybe they used invisible thread.
There should have been a way to tip it over with sound waves.
With
Or
sound
perhaps
waves?
Opening the door caused intense wind pressure to tip over the lighter.
Intense wind pressure, what? Some kind of setup was used to start that fire. So what could it be?
The direct
Alrighty
cause
then.
of the fire was
Duct
the oil
tape,
lighter found at
no.
the crime scene, right?
Okay, well the oil lighter was definitely used on this. There's no denying that.
He lit the curtain on fire with the lighter.
Monokuma plushie,
Some kind of
Monokuma
setup?
panels.
Did they use the oil as an improvised fuse?
As an improvised
They
fuse.
probably just threw the lighter.
No.
Based on the shape of that oil lighter, it can stand upright while the flame is lit.
If they tipped over the lighter in some way, it could have ignited the curtain.
Some way? Maybe they used invisible thread.
There should have been a way to tip it over with sound waves.
Or perhaps opening the door caused intense wind pressure to tip over the lighter.
Well, okay, I think we got something over here. We're definitely gonna have to agree with somebody, but... Sound waves? Like wind pressure? What?
The direct
Guys,
cause of the fire
come on.
was the oil lighter found
Come
at
on.
the crime scene, right?
I mean, you all have like some good ideas over here, but it's
He lit the
obvious.
curtain on fire with the lighter.
Some kind of setup?
There is only one way that
Did they
this
use the
all
oil as an
happens.
improvised fuse?
They probably just
I mean,
threw
it
the
could be
lighter.
true. The oil lighter
Based
was
on the
standing
shape of that
up,
oil lighter,
and when it tipped over,
stand upright while
it
the
started
flame
the
is lit.
fire.
If they tipped
It lit
over
the
lighter
curtain.
in some way, it could have ignited the curtain.
Some way?
But how did it tip over? Well,
Maybe they used invisible thread.
it is because of
There
this.
should have been a way to tip it over with sound waves.
Or
Okay.
perhaps opening the
By
door
doing
caused-
this. There you go.
I agree with that.
You go, Miss Nevermind. Once again.
I also agree that opening the door is what started the fire.
Yep. Opening the door. Monokuma panels. The oil lighter.
Just as I thought, It was the wind pressure! A dust devil blown here from glorious Japan!
Okay. I guess I'm gonna give Sonia like half a point over here. I cannot give her like a full point over here, sadly. Or maybe it was the Kuroshio. The wind, Japan's wind coming from east.
No, not wind pressure. They probably used the Monokuma panels. A huge number of tipped-over Monokuma panels were found at the crime scene, right? It looked like they were scattered everywhere, but some were laying on top of each other in a single line. Just a single line leading from the warehouse door to the fire's origin.
Does that mean anything?
The killer probably arranged those Monokuma panels to create a domino effect.
Mm-hmm.
A domino effect. You mean those tiles kids play with by lining them up and tipping them over?
Yep, indeed.
In place of those tiles, the killer used the Monokuma panels. So when we opened the warehouse door, the first panel toppled into the second. And from there, they fell like dominoes until they reached the lighter at the end.
But wouldn't it be obvious that those big panels were falling over?
That's probably why they turned off the lights in the warehouse, so we wouldn't notice them.
So the reason the warehouse was dark was to hide the domino effect.
That could be it.
And one more thing. There was something else the killer did to hide the domino effect, right?
Was there? The killer did one other thing to hide the domino effect. I can't say for sure. Hold on a second. The oil lighter? The MP3 player? I mean, I kept asking myself, what is the deal with this? An MP3 player that comes with speakers. The music that was blaring throughout the warehouse when Hajime and the others arrived was coming from this. Could it be this?
I see!
I guess so.
You're talking about the MP3 player, right? That hymn blaring throughout the warehouse masked the sound of the falling panels.
Oh, so that's what it was for? It wasn't just to get our attention and get inside the warehouse, because Nagito said that we should go inside the warehouse himself, so why the music in the first place? I guess it was for... I guess it was for distracting us from the sound that was made by the Monokuma panels. The inside of the warehouse felt even darker because our eyes were still used to the bright sunlight outside. Within that darkness, a loud hymnal blared throughout the warehouse at full volume. Hey, do you guys hear something? Yeah, it's really damn loud. Does Nagito like listening to this depressing crap? No, I'm not talking about the music. And as if on cue, it suddenly started. Ah, the fire coming from hell!
So the strange sound was actually the sound of the panels falling.
Okay. Time out over here. Soundtrack guy, what the heck is going on over here? Why are you not even... You're not even giving the full names of the songs over here. You're just putting like dots right now. What the fuck is wrong with you? What do you mean you're tired? Well, just because Nagito is dead doesn't necessarily mean that you shouldn't do your work over here. I mean, come on. We're doing this together. What do you mean I don't care? What, do you expect me to pay you for this? Come on! Come back over here! What the fuck is on? Hey! What? Okay, well apparently I lost to the soundtrack guy over here. What the fuck? Yeah, I guess so. I guess we're no longer gonna have the soundtrack guy for this. That's interesting. Well, what the fuck?
But those sounds weren't the only strange thing, right? Looking back on it, it was also strange when we opened the door to the warehouse.
It's fine. I'll open it slowly. No, that's not a problem. Seriously, he'll be fine. With those words, I kind of brushed off everyone's warnings and slowly opened the door to the warehouse. Huh? It's not opening? Is there something blocking the door? I can barely open it. I knew it. It's a trap. Seriously, just stop it, okay? Did I tell you it'd be fine? I just gotta use a little more force. What happened to opening it slowly? Kanye ignored their protests, and with a mighty kick, the door flew open. Bam!
Ah, so the door was being blocked by a Monokuma panel. And when we opened the door, the domino effect started, and the falling panels eventually reached the lighter.
Yeah, and that's how the warehouse caught on fire. At least, that's how it looks.
You don't look so sure.
At the time, a.k.a. mentioned that she could barely open the door.
Barely open the door.
Because the panel was blocking it, right?
But the blocked doorway, there wasn't enough space for a person to fit through, right?
No.
Is that a problem?
Yeah, what about that?
It's a major problem. I mean, that door was the only entrance to the warehouse.
Ah, you're talking about the fact that the killer might have been inside the warehouse, and that was the only entrance? Well, we haven't found like any extra entrance / exit or hatch or something like that, so that is indeed a mystery. I'm just saying. I may or may not know something about that. I don't know. That door was the only entrance to the warehouse. I see. So the problem Chuck is talking about is... they could have been inside, we couldn't take any more. Yeah, that's the problem that Chuck is talking about. The problem you're talking about is the fact that we couldn't take any of the merch that was inside. I'm disappointed in you. I can't believe you actually like that black and white cat mascot. What the? You know, Hajime, like the worst thing that a girl would ever say to you that you're also interested in is that she's disappointed in you. That is like the worst thing a girl could say to you. I'm just saying. I'm talking from experience over here. I'm a bear, damn it!
Crap.
Okay. Come on, Hajime, come on. You're less of a disappointment than Makoto when it comes to stuff like this. The killer couldn't have left. I see!
If the panel was so close to the door that it could barely be opened, the killer inside the warehouse wouldn't be able to leave, right?
Now that you mention it.
Does that mean they were hiding inside?
Who? We were all outside the warehouse, you know.
Based on the patterns up until now, I believe some kind of setup was used.
You don't have to think so hard. There's actually only one person who could have possibly done this.
Huh? Who?
You don't mean...
But if that's true, this murder...
Hajime? What do you mean?
Oh! Are they reaching to that conclusion over here? Let's see. The person who set up the domino effect inside the warehouse. There's only one person who could have done that. Let's see. I think that we're getting hotter and hotter over here. I think that my idea might be right over here. Let's see. The only person who could have done this, who could have set up all this inside the warehouse, it can only be one person! And that is... you, Mr. Komaeda.
This is my answer. What if it was Nagito?
Why'd you bring him up? He's the victim, you know.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. He is the victim.
He wasn't just the victim. Maybe.
Huh?
Not just the victim? What does that mean?
He was the victim. And he was the perpetrator, too. Maybe.
I think.
Are you saying this was a suicide? Don't be stupid.
Maybe it was a suicide. Maybe it wasn't. I guess we should figure that out. Like right now. Was it actually suicide? I do have a strong feeling that it is suicide.
His body was covered in torture wounds. Or did you already forget? Are you saying those were all self-inflicted?
But Nagito might do something like that, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, he is a crafty fuck. He would do things like this.
That's not the issue. He was tied up, remember?
So?
Even for a creep like Nagito, it'd be impossible for him to tie up his own arms and legs.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, you're right.
Hey, wait, what?
Yeah, as long as you understand.
It seems we need to discuss how Nagito was able to tie himself up.
Oh, there you go.
Need to discuss? That's not necessary at all. No matter how much you think about it, it's clearly impossible.
It's definitely not impossible. I mean, come on. There is no such thing as impossible in these murder cases. Like you said, it seems impossible if you think about it, but I feel like I'm overlooking something. Yeah, you're all definitely overlooking something. Let's see. Torture, wounds, burns, survival. Well, where do we even begin about this? I mean, I have my idea of it. Oh my god, Usami's still looking all hurt there.
To actually tie up your own arms and legs. That's obviously impossible.
Tying just the legs is one thing, but tying both arms would be impossible.
You couldn't do much with the free arm.
It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
How about if you use your teeth?
Teeth?
Or if you use your front tail?
Oh, your front tip.
Dirty joke! Is that a dirty joke?
Dirty joke! It was totally a dirty joke! If our assumption that Nagito committed suicide is correct, Nagito should have... What the fuck? Front tail? I got it! Nagito should have tied himself up too. That's okay, right? Well...
To actually tie up your own arms and legs. That's obviously impossible.
Tying just the legs is one thing, but tying both arms would be impossible.
You couldn't do much with the free arm.
It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
Could it be this? No. Is there a way to tie your arms and legs by yourself? If so, I'd like you to explain it to me. Try demonstrating it right now, you dumbass!
Crap!
You dumbass! I made a mistake. I need to think it over one more time. Well, what did it say exactly with the burned rope? The rope that was tied to Nagito's right arm burned off. However, Nagito's right sleeve still looked clean.
That's obviously impossible.
Tying just the legs is one thing, but tying both arms would be impossible.
Torture wounds? Both of Nagito's legs were tied with rope, and each rope was tied to nearby pillars, which prevented him from moving. His thighs were also covered.
It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
How about if you use your teeth? Or if you use your front tail?
No. What?
Dirty joke! Is that a dirty joke?
Okay, well, you used the duct tape.
To actually tie up your own arms and legs. That's obviously impossible.
Tying just the legs is one thing, but tying both arms would be impossible.
You couldn't do much with the free arm.
It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
How about if you use your teeth? Or if you use your front tail?
Dirty joke! Is that a dirty joke?
Could it be?
To actually tie up your own arms and legs.
Well, it could be this. Oh, it was this.
No,
What?
it's wrong.
But
Hold on a sec. Isn't that premise flawed?
to tie up your own hands and legs, but
What? I mean, it's no mistake that his arms and legs were...
No, it shouldn't have been both of his arms.
oh, wait a second. Did he say like both his arms? Oh, okay. So that's what it was.
The rope on his right arm was completely burnt up. Based on that, you can't say he was tied up.
That was just burned by the fire. He should have been tied up before that.
No. He clearly had like one arm free. And he did put like that burnt rope there, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it was burned by the fire that was caused in the warehouse. Maybe it was burned from before. He had that burnt rope to make it look like it was burned when the fire got started in the warehouse. To make it look like it was tied to the pillar as well before the fire. So yeah, it could have been free this whole time with a fake rope like that. However, back to that non-stop debate, like, what was it wrong there? Cause I knew that the burnt rope was the clue, it's just that I thought that it would be Fuyuhiko's second thing that I would have to contradict. That it couldn't be possible, but yeah.
It burned because of the fire. Like you said, it might look like that. But that was part of the trap. There's concrete evidence that proves it.
Yeah, there's definitely proof of that. His right sleeve.
I see! Take a close look at his right sleeve. Even though the rope was burnt up, his sleeve wasn't burned at all. Wouldn't you agree? A burn like this, no matter how you think about it, is unnatural. That rope was burned in advance so it would look like it was burned in the fire.
Then Nagito's right arm wasn't tied up, right? He was able to move it freely, right?
Mm-hmm. Meaning he could do all that by himself. That kidding.
Yeah, that should be the case.
Hajime, that's awesome! I'll let you cop a feel if you want.
That.
Akane, you should not give it away for free. Make sure they pay you first.
Sonia.
That's definitely wrong.
Fuyuhiko, don't say anything stupid.
Fine. I just gotta get a Benjamin from him before I let him touch me, right?
That's not what I meant. I'm talking about Nagito.
Okay, thank you, Fuyuhiko. I think that we're going into uncharted territory over here.
I mean, even if his right hand wasn't tied up, the knife was still stabbed into it, you know?
Mm-hmm. That is true.
It's impossible to stab a knife into your right hand with your right hand. Ah, that much is obvious.
And that is definitely the thing that caused me like the most confusion out of everything in this whole thing. The knife in his hands. I mean, let's think about this. Let's say that he had his free hand. That would mean that he would be able to make his own wounds and all that. But what about the right hand when he got stabbed with a knife? That is definitely something. I do have to wonder about that.
Hajime, you tricked me. Give me back that Benjamin.
No, this Benjamin is mine. And I will definitely prove to you that he had his free hand. And he did all that stuff. I'm not gonna give you my Benjamin. Why did she try to charge me? Now she wants the money back? What the heck?
Hold on. There should be a way.
Then hurry up and spill it.
If it's something lame, I'll make you give back the Benjamin with 10,000% interest.
Wait, what? What? A way to stab yourself... Okay. A way to stab yourself in your right hand using only your right hand. It's okay. There's definitely an answer for this. It is a crazy idea, though. It is definitely something that I didn't think about it in the first place, but yeah, it definitely has something to do with one of these thingies over here. Let's see.
Even if Nagito's right hand was free, How could he stab his right hand with his right hand?
If he threw the knife into the air and let the knife fall, could he stab his hand that way?
Is he a throwing knife expert?
Maybe he propped the knife somehow? And slammed his right hand down on it?
Onto what?
If he just propped the knife, he could have used his bound left hand.
What?
Tied up, your arms won't bend that easily. We don't know if his left hand could even reach his right hand.
That is true. Like, I mean, I didn't think about this. Maybe he had the knife in his left hand, but in order for him to stab his... I mean, the left hand was tied up. So in order for him to stab his right hand with the survival knife that was in the left hand, he would have to he would have to stretch his hand, like right hand, all the way to the left side, which is pretty difficult. Hold on, let me just experiment this. Fuck. No, I think that is impossible. There's no way that's possible. But no, there's definitely something over here that could be used. Burnt rope, survival
How could he
knife.
stab his right hand with his right hand?
If he threw the knife into the air and let the knife fall,
But yeah, let the knife fall.
Is he a throwing knife expert?
Maybe he propped the knife somehow?
Surely, with this.
I agree with that.
Yep, it was a Monokuma plushie.
The life-sized Monokuma plushie. He must have used that to prop the knife.
I mean, remember, ladies and gents? It had like a hole inside it, and it also had Nagito's blood. I mean, where did that hole come from? I can tell you what, it was from the knife!
Makes sense. That's why there was a big hole in the plushie's stomach. He inserted the knife handle into that hole to prop it up. Then he slammed his hand onto it.
Yeah, he had that knife. He had that knife and the plushie near him. And when he did all those wounds, he inserted the knife inside the plushie and then slammed the knife in his hand, and then bam! That's it. He's dead, Jim.
If that's it, he had to place the plushie near him. And it also explains the mysterious blood on the plushie.
So the blood on the plushie came from Nagito after he stabbed the knife into his own right hand.
I see. So that's the trick.
But for a moment, I seriously thought Monokuma died or something.
Nah, he won't be that easy.
A bleeding plushie is super scary. It's got the same fear factor as a doll whose hair grows too long.
After stabbing his hand, he no longer needed the plushie, so he cast it off toward the fire's origin point.
He probably thought the fire would incinerate it and destroy the evidence.
I mean, if he didn't think about that, then he definitely should have done that, but yeah. If the plushie was incinerated in that fire, then hell, this would have been even more difficult to solve.
so what do you think now, Fuyuhiko?
I get what you're saying about the wound on his right hand, but there's still one huge problem. The spear. Basically, you're saying Nagito committed suicide by impaling himself with a spear, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you think about the order, getting killed by the spear should have been the last thing to happen to Nagito. If that's true, how is that possible?
Okay, that is much more simple than the trick that was used for the knife, Fuyuhiko. Just think about it a little more.
He can't grab a spear with his right hand if a knife is stabbed into it and his left hand was all tied up.
That is true. You cannot do it. Once he did that, he was no longer able to use his right hand and his left hand. What? Well... Okay, I did say something wrong over there, but... Yeah, we shall see.
Then he probably took the spear first, and as he endured the pain, he stabbed the knife into his right hand.
There is a limit to his constitution.
I mean, Jesus Christ.
If you got penetrated by something so big and thick, you would die instantly.
Okay. Not to sound perverted over here, but I feel like somebody's gonna say something about this, I'm sure. Ah, there you go. Called it! Kazuichi.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch all that.
Like I said, if you got penetrated by something so big and thick, you would die instantly.
Say it one more time. I need to record it. For a reason.
Especially the "you would die instantly" part. You definitely should record that as well.
Hey, bastard, you better cut it out.
Like she said, in that condition, it's very difficult to stab yourself with a spear.
In that case, how did Nagito stab himself with the spear? I guess we shall figure that out in the next episode.